I have this theory that what we call the supernatural is merely just our thoughts and ideas combined. Of course, many of us believe this to be the case, but I have had one such experience of the supernatural. An experience, I might add, that I won't soon forget. Her name was June. She was my imaginary friend as a child, and she still remains so until... God, this is going to sound strange. Until I was 17. I, unlike most people my age, was very lonely, and I have no qualms in saying so. I never told anyone about her because I didn't want people to dislike me any more than they already did. I wasn't the popular one growing up, so I guess they never actually had an opinion of me. Anyway, I digress. It seemed that I would always get comfort from talking to June, almost like I didn't need to talk to anyone else. For the last year, however, I didn't speak to her much. I guess that was because when I was 16 I had a lot of problems mentally. June always listened to me. She never interrupted and never gave an opinion. I imagined that she was looking right into my eyes and listening to every word I had to say. From the mind of a lonely boy, that was just about the only time I felt someone cared. The only time I ever saw her was in my mind, which was good because I felt I had full control over what happened in conversation. This was the case until last night. It was my birthday and I had just turned 17. My family were around the house and nothing seemed like it was out of the ordinary. Until I saw her. She was just sitting on the bottom step of our staircase looking right at me and no one else. She looked exactly like I imagined her throughout my childhood. I kept quiet about seeing her because I knew nobody else could, and I sometimes wonder if I just had an overactive mind. It was my birthday after all, and after 2 energy drinks my mind was all over the place. Yes, I had energy drinks on my birthday. My parents gave me £20 as a present, so the first thing I did was go to these shops and buy 2 Monster energy drinks. Again, I digress. After seeing her, I felt very uneasy, almost like I was going to vomit. I was shocked, to say the least, but for some strange reason, it was comforting to see her in the open and not in my mind. I remember going to the kitchen to grab something, but when I returned to the living room, she was gone. The evening went on, and I felt very tired. I waited for everyone to leave, and I went to bed. I went to sleep quite easily. It must have been those damn energy drinks. They give you a brief high moment, but as soon as the day goes on, they drain you of everything you've got, literally. I had a dream that night that it was my birthday again. The day went well, so I thought the dream would too. It did go well, but in the dream, I wasn't given the £20 that my parents actually gave me. Instead, I got given a note by my parents. It read, "Hey there, I bet you didn't actually think you'd see me. In fact, I bet you didn't think I was real at all. I am, and I follow you everywhere you go, and I always will. Kind regards, June." In the dream, I looked up to my parents and asked them about the note, but to my surprise, they had vanished. Suddenly, I awoke from the dream to a loud thud that sounded like it was coming from the staircase. I opened my eyes only to be greeted by my ceiling. I heard quiet laughter. I was going to get out of bed when all of a sudden I realised I couldn't move. That's when I heard her walking up the stairs. I closed my eyes and held my breath. She was in my room. Even though my eyes were glued shut, I could feel her cold gaze on me. I wanted to cry out for help, but my lips were trembling. Then I heard her kneel down beside me. "Shh, it's okay, I won't hurt you," her voice whispered. I know how lonely you feel because I feel it too. I felt her cold hand rest on mine. Nobody else understands you, not even your parents. I took care of them though. You don't have to worry about them anymore. All you need is me, she said. Before I could do anything, I felt the hand raise, and all I could hear was the painful sound of silence. I kept my eyes shut until I saw daylight shine through the lids of my eyes. It was all a dream, I thought to myself. Getting out of bed felt like the most rewarding privilege I'd ever been given. I shot up and made my way to the wardrobe on the far side of my room. That's when I noticed a smell. A rancid smell. It smelt like roadkill, and without hesitation I covered my nose. "Mum," I said through a nasally voice, "can you smell that?" The painful silence filled the house once again. After not getting a response, I assumed they were still asleep, so I got dressed and went into their room. Something was wrong. The door was left wide open, which throughout the 17 years of my life never happened. The smell was now unbearable, and there was no way of blocking it out. What I saw next will be burned into my memory forever. My parents had been slaughtered. Their heads, laying splayed open on the floor. Their arms slit all the way open from the wrists to the shoulders. Their body hacked away so that only fragments of flesh and bone were intact. Their ribs were ripped from the chest and thighs stripped of all skin. It was the single most terrifying moment of my life. Now, as I sit here and write this, I contemplate calling the police. But I can't. Nobody will believe me. They'll think I just went insane and committed such an awful act. I know who did this, and all I can say is, if you have or have had an imaginary friend, forget about them. Now.